Hey, what's up? This is Mike with Baller on a Budget. So this is the Gole1 Pro, the J4125 processor, the integrated UHD 600 graphics. I was running Tiny 11, but was having some issues with more of the tablet aspects. The touchscreen wasn't working, the sound wasn't working, and was having problems with the Wi-Fi. So I switched it over to Ubuntu and was getting it all set up to try Steam on there, which has its issues. And then this morning, I got on to try to film some CSGO, and I'm in the Linux loop. So I worked on it for about half hour this morning, read a bunch of stuff, figured out a bunch of stuff, and I'll show you guys what I figured out so far because I haven't found a really good video that actually shows this stuff, and this seems to be kind of a unique problem. So I'll show you what I figured out so far. So you put in your username, you hit enter, and then you start typing, and nothing happens. It just keeps flashing. So earlier I would hit enter, I would try to type my password in again, and nothing would happen. It would just keep flashing. So eventually I figured out through reading some stuff on the internet and digging through stuff about this loop is that when it's flashing and you type, it's actually typing your password. So I put my password in, doesn't show my password. You hit enter and it goes to this screen. Failed to connect. Check your internet connections. All this stuff. So I have this USB internet that I've been running to get Wi-Fi because ever since I put Tiny 11 on it, it hasn't worked. So I've been using the USB Wi-Fi. So now I got to try to find a prompt or something. I might restart it now because I never actually read that thing about needing the internet. So maybe now that that USB Wi-Fi is plugged back in, maybe it'll do something else. Another issue that I've been having with this is it's got a built-in battery. It's supposed to be a decent battery, like 4 to 5 hours normal computer use, probably like 2 hours playing games. Is I've been having the issue that it won't start unless it's plugged in, but as soon as it's on, I can unplug it and it'll keep running off the battery. So that's been a little weird too. So I'll put my username back in, put my password back in. Failed to connect again, check your internet connection. And then you get this prompt. So I'm going to try looking up some stuff while I'm filming. I'm going to try to film this whole thing. It could be 20 minutes long, could be an hour long, but there might be times where I don't talk a whole lot, but we'll figure this out and we'll get back in. And I'm not so sure. I might try installing Windows 10 on it. I might see if I can install Windows XP because they have a tablet edition. I'm just looking for something that doesn't take up nearly as much RAM as Windows 11 because with the integrated graphics and the CPU and like the 4 GB that Windows can use, I mean, that doesn't leave you a whole lot to do your stuff with. So we'll look up now Ubuntu loop. What prompt after username and password? I'll take you to a terminal screen to log into your. Okay, so it gives you all this stuff too. like hit Control Alt F3 and it'll take you back to the login, which we just did, so we don't need to do that. And then it says take you to a terminal screen. You can enter commands here just as you would. Now I've tried some commands. Let's see what commands they get. Enter the following at the command line to get a full directory display. ls space dash la. Sorry. So now we get this, which I have not seen yet. So near the end of the listing, look for a file named .x authority. Skip to the next. If there's no file, okay, near the end of the listing, look for a file named .x authority. This file may not exist on your system. If there's no file with the name x authority, skip to the next suggestion. If the x authority file does exist, look at the owner and group for the file. These two attributes appear to the left of the file name and the size. Okay, so it's a little hard to read this 5.5-inch screen. Let's see what all it has. So look at the owner and group for the file. These two. All right, I'm gonna try doing like this so you guys can see. Okay, if the file does not exist, look at the owner and group for the file. Okay, so it says type sudo space chown space username username, oops. Okay. To be filled by OEM. So let's see what it says. Now, set correctly. Look further up the directory listing as you found named ICE Authority exists. I'm not seeing ICE Authority. So, check permission settings. If your Ubuntu stuck at the login screen, then it could be due to the incorrect settings. To see the permissions on the enter the following two commands. So we go cd okay, so this looks like a slightly different screen. In the case, string of letters should be precisely, okay, it says in the case of /TMP, that string of letters should be precisely DRWRXWXRWT. Okay, so now we're all the way down to, it says remove and reinstall your desktop environment. If all else fails, you can try removing and reinstalling the Ubuntu desktop environment, including GDM, as a last resort. It may take some time to complete, but you only need to enter a few commands. To perform a fresh install of the desktop, enter the following commands in order, and there's 6 commands. So let me try to prop this up again. So we're going to enter these 6 commands. Bear with me. Okay. So the first one was sudo space apt space remove space Ubuntu dash desktop. Now we have to enter sudo space apt space update, enter, and then sudo space apt space dist slash upgrade, enter, and then we do sudo space apt space auto remove, enter, then we do sudo space apt space clean, enter, and then one last one, sudo space apt space install space Ubuntu dash desktop, enter. And then it says, do you want to continue? Enter Y, enter. And then it says, okay, so it's doing something for 5 minutes. It says these commands will remove the current desktop, update the software list, update your system and packages to the latest versions, remove and clean any unused files, and reinstall the desktop environment. And then it says reboot your system after each configuration. After implementing the above stated solutions, you should reboot your system and try to log in again. To do so, enter the following at the terminal prompt. And then it gives us more prompts. So I would like to get Ubuntu working good. I don't know. I'm not real familiar with it. I mean, probably 10 years ago I downloaded Ubuntu, gave it a try, and it just seems like it's more for somebody who has spent a lot more time with computers, who kind of wants to, create their own environment of an operating system. And I'll make a video if we get back in about kind of the process of Steam and playing a game, because I haven't yet. I mean, I messed around with it for an hour last night and still haven't actually played a game. So maybe we can get a game going. I have most of my games on a micro SD card. I have a 1 terabyte card now that I'm trying to move everything to, and I'm trying to maybe have a card for Steam games, then a card for emulators and stuff, because I just bounce around 3 different machines. But I had games installed on the micro SD card, and Ubuntu found them, but then they kind of go through their process of retrieving the data and installing updates and all this stuff. And my Alan Wake probably took about half an hour of that, and it got to like 96%, and it said error. And then I tried it again, and it did the same thing. So I'm just kind of trying to learn, but it's not nearly as plug and play. The touchscreen works good with Ubuntu. It doesn't really seem set up for like tablet use, so I had to go through a lot of the settings to get it to, when you want landscape, it gives you landscape. It's still not recognizing the drivers for Wi-Fi, so I don't know if that's just an issue with my unit or what, but I'm still just using the USB Wi-Fi, which is fine. But I'd like to be able to do that. I was hoping that it would fix my issues with needing to have it plugged in to start, and it didn't fix those issues. So just still have issues, but I mean, I like messing around with this and trying to get things to work. I mean, it's fun. That's what it's for. I'm trying to do an alternative to, you know, units that are already set up, plug and play, like, Steam Decks, Retroid packets, retro game systems, all that stuff. Like, I'm trying to make this or see if it can be something like that. So, looks like something good's going on. I think it's reinstalling Ubuntu now. I think it made it through its uninstall, and it looks like maybe it's reinstalling. So, I was hoping just to find a recovery point, but I was never able to recover an earlier version of my own Ubuntu, so that's kind of what I was hoping for. But I can make a video showing kind of the Steam download and what you have to do to play most of your games on Steam. The first time I logged into Steam, I have like 8 or 9 games, and only one of them would give me the play option. The other ones would have install was just grayed out where you couldn't even click on it. So I'll show you how to do that, and maybe we'll figure out Ubuntu, and maybe we'll just have to go back to Tiny 11 or try Windows 10 or something, but not a big deal either way. I mean, I'm learning. Oh boy, look at this. It looks like it might actually let us in. See what happens. Holy frioli, look at that. Holy wah. Okay, well, that's probably it for this video, but I'm gonna try to get a CSGO going, probably online, and then I'll do I'll do a video with Steam, show you how to get that working, and see if we can actually make this play our game. So, thank you for watching. I'll catch you later.